Welcome, yogis. Welcome to today's day 2 of the 7-day Prenatal Flow Challenge. We are going to have a little routine that is a lovely morning routine. You can do it at any time of the day, but it's just a nice way to wake up the body. We're going to, of course, incorporate some stretches, some release towards the end. You'll need 2 blocks or 2 books. And if you have a bolster for the end relaxation, you can use that too. So otherwise, as you come to the mat, we're going to start on all fours, knees slightly wider, toes together, send the hips back so as though you were coming in a child's pose, and then exhale as you hug baby towards the spine, gently come forward. Inhale, making your way back into this extended child's pose. Maybe you can do this with your eyes closed. Exhaling, hugging baby towards the spine as you draw the weight forward. And so we're just moving initially through these 2 postures. As you're coming forward, you're engaging the core, hugging your baby in, supporting the lower back, starting to strengthen the arms, at the same time working that mobility in the hips, making sure that as you move forward and back, the facial expression is relaxed, the jaw is relaxed, maybe your teeth are slightly apart, the upper teeth and lower teeth. And especially if you're in your first trimester, second trimester, if you want to take this just a little further, and again, this is just an option, you could tuck the toes under. So you're inhaling, sending the hips back, and then as you breathe out, coming into a plank momentarily, and at the same time, you're pressing the heels back so that your calves get a really nice stretch. And then just slowly bringing the knees back down, inhaling as you soften, exhaling, maybe coming up. So this is just an option. See how you feel today. You're either coming forward in like almost a half plank and then back into child's pose, or maybe coming up to a plank. You could be alternating. But again, we're not trying to do something just because our ego is asking us to. You're listening to your body. Some days we kind of want just a bit more energy, a bit more fire in the practice, and some days we just need to allow ourselves a little break and just move in a way that feels safe, supported, and then coming back. Lovely. So we're going to do a few cat-cows, but we're going to change the way we habitually do them. So this time, on the exhale, you're slowly opening the heart forward, hugging baby towards the spine. And then inhaling as you round the spine, gazing towards baby. Exhaling, hugging baby towards the spine, supporting the lower back as you open the heart, gazing forward. And then inhale as you round, gazing towards baby. And it might feel very weird to do that initially. And so again, we're not rushing the movement, really trying to feel the space that we're creating, how changing the breath in this movement really supports the lower back area. Let's do that 3 more times. And then back through center. Okay, so from here, as long as your wrists are okay, we're going to stay exactly as we are. If for whatever reason your wrists are feeling a bit sensitive, you could come onto your forearms. all we're going to do is start to circle the torso in one direction. So whether you're on your forearms or on hands and knees, moving in a way that feels fluid, allowing the energy to become really free, the body moving in a way that brings a watery quality. All of this whilst perhaps maintaining the eyes closed, creating that greater internal awareness of how the movement feels rather than what it looks like. And at the same time, of course, we're removing any pressure from the lower back, all of baby's weight coming forward. So that's especially nice towards the later stages of pregnancy, when your tummy is starting to weigh quite a bit. And then changing direction, moving in the opposite way, noticing again how that feels. And back through center. So from here, using either a block or two, you're going to place the block in between the legs and come to sit back. So one block might be okay, you might want two, or you might just place one on a medium setting. The important thing is that you feel that the calves are not being compressed, and this should feel quite comfortable, hips slightly higher than your knees. Hands come onto the shoulders, and we're gonna just sway a little bit side to side, but at the same time working, opening into the upper body and the shoulders. So starting with the left elbow, drawing circles forward, up and back, and then moving straight into the right. And as you can see, the torso can sway side to side. Feel free to close the eyes, moving in a way, again, that feels natural, comfortable. It's not about going fast. We want to maintain the connection to our breath, feeling with as much clarity all the sensations that appear and disappear. So important to really learn to tune in to that innate wisdom, recognizing the wonder that our body is going through, creating, sustaining life, new life. Doing that a couple more times side to side. This is a nice way to create a bit more space, so especially if you're feeling a bit of heartburn or a bit out of breath, because obviously as your uterus, the size of the uterus grows, baby grows, our lung capacity is also just a little less. And so here we're really allowing a bigger mobility, great space in the upper parts of the lung. Lovely. And then coming back through center. Lovely. So from here, I'm just placing the blocks back to the floor. We're going to have pinky fingers coming just either side of the mat, fingers nice and spread. And we're going to come into a very casual Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So toes tucked under, have the feet maybe slightly wider than you usually would. Gently hug baby towards the spine, hover the knees off, and then start to send the hips back and up. Really thinking of lengthening through the spine, pressing the hands forward, and then pedaling the legs out. Feeling that nice release into the back of the legs. I'm definitely suffering with a lot of cramps at the moment. It's really hot, and They kind of happen a lot at night, but staying hydrated obviously is a key factor, but then also releasing mindfully the calves, the hamstrings, making sure that we're not holding the breath as you breathe, baby breathes. Nice. So from here, soft bend in the knees as you start to walk the hands back towards your feet. Ground both feet evenly and then engage through the glutes. You might want to place one forearm and then the other on your thighs. And then with that strength through the legs, rising all the way up. Hands reach up and over. Exhaling, hands through the heart center. Okay, so we're going to do a bit of work with the pelvis. Really nice way if your back feels a bit sensitive, it will kind of release that. And we're going to have one hand on the front of the pelvis, one hand around the sacrum, and we're going to do a little sort of scooping action. So as you tilt the pelvis back, you're going to bend the knees and then slowly come forward and tilt it forward. So in this ondular motion, moving from that anterior and posterior tilt. At the same time, you'll notice legs working a little bit. Feel free to close the eyes. Lovely, coming back through center. So from here, we're going to use a block to the outside of the left foot. Hands on the hips, ground through the left toes, spread the left toes, place the weight of the body on the left leg as you start to lift the right heel. A few options. So option one, you're going to cross the right leg over the left. Hug your thighs together as you bend into the standing leg, as though you're trying to hold a P, but we're keeping both hip bones facing forward. So option one. Option two, you could cross and just have your right foot in the air. And then option three, coming into a double bind, but again, making sure that the hips haven't swayed to one side, keeping them forward. So I'm today going to choose the option with the brick, just feels a bit more supported, quite tired with the heat, but I'm still working here, gathering the energy from the floor up, hugging the thighs, really feeling that really nice concentration through the thighs, arms out, and then we're crossing opposite arm over. So left arm over the right, a few options again, maybe hands on opposite shoulder, maybe one bind with the back of the hands touching, or double bind if the body allows it. We're drawing the forearms away from the face. Think of lifting the elbows in line with the shoulders, maybe sinking a little deeper into your seat and trying to see beyond the forearms, beyond that Maya, the cloud of illusion, and keeping a softness in the gaze, a softness in the face and in the body as we breathe here, opening into the back of the pelvis. Maybe you're inhaling through the nose and breathing out through the mouth, maybe with a loud ha. Last breath here. And then slowly reopen the arms, reach the leg up. Lovely. And then from here, hands into prayer. We're going to come into Warrior 3. So with that lifted leg, starting to send it back. And again, thinking of a pendulum here. We're only coming down as much as the back leg floats up. So maybe you're staying here. Maybe you go a bit further. But it's not about getting necessarily parallel, just really working with the body. And that lifted leg, your right leg, we're internally rotating that thigh. Really work with the hamstring here. Maybe hands are in front of the heart. And then bend into the leg, place the foot to the ground, high lunge. We're going to come out into goddess, and we're going to repeat that. So we make our way back to the front of the mat, high lunge. Use that to press the back heel back, get a stretch in the calf, and then make our way into Virabhadrasana 3. So we'll do that little sequence 4 more times. Making your way into a high lunge, opening up into our goddess. So yummy for the hips, strengthening at the same time as working mobility and our balance. And so notice the mind. Try to keep that sense of ease in the body, in the facial expression. We'll do that just one more time. Into our goddess. Holding in your goddess here, placing the hands onto the thighs. You're going to drop the left shoulder in, finding a little rotation here. Nice to release into the upper back and shoulders, back through center, and then exhale to the other side. Feel free to do that one more time, side to side, in your own time. Lovely. And back up. Toe heel the feet together. Hands on baby. We're coming into our yoni mudra. Yoni, which means womb in Sanskrit, the yogic language. Shoulders are relaxed. And then again, inviting this lovely circular action. Soft bend in the knees. Maybe closing the eyes. And then after a few circles in one direction, changing direction. Lovely. Back through center. So if you had a block, placing it now to the outside of your right foot, spreading the right toes, grounding through the big toe mound, little toe mound, and heel of the right foot, feeling that energy run up through the leg as you start to bend into the left knee, peel that left foot off the ground, and then again, whichever variation you worked on the other side, coming here. So I'm just having the foot option 1 and hugging the thighs together as you bend both knees. So you are sitting a bit into an invisible chair. And with that, again, you could have your one bind or double bind. When you feel steady, arms come out wide. This time we're crossing right arm over the left. Again, your variation of arms, keeping the soft, your gaze soft, the shoulders relaxed, the jaw relaxed, hugging gently the thighs together, the forearms together, working with your breath. Maybe your deep ujjayi. Last breath in, and out. And then slowly open the arms, lift your left leg up, and then we're going to make our way into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3, hands together at the top of the mat. Exhale as you open, find that length, line of energy, internal rotation of the lifted leg. Remembering there's that line of energy from the crown of the head to the heel. And then we're going to come into our little sequence. So you're softening into the front leg, coming into your high lunge, into Malasana. And back again, high lunge, Vira 3. High lunge, feeling that stretch in the front part of the hip as you release the tailbone down. And Goddess, working beautifully the strengthening and releasing mobility of our hips. Moving slowly with awareness as we do 2 more rounds. And then holding once again in your Goddess pose. As you breathe in, both legs straighten, arms float up. Exhaling as you move through Yoni. And then draw Yoni Mudra forward and up, straightening the legs. Placing your Yoni Mudra in contact with baby as you bend the knees. Inhale and exhale. And we're going to work with the sound here, with the bumblebee breath on the exhale. So inhale. Last one. We're simply going to bring the insteps of the feet parallel, or ever so slightly pigeon-toed. Hands on the hips, soften the shoulders, grow tall through the crown of the head. Soft bend in the knees, and then exhale as you fold forward. Maybe using a block underneath the hands, placing the base of the hands together. Again, whichever height works for you. Think of sending the hips back, crown of the head forward. And then inhale as you open, right arm out. Exhale back through center. Inhale. And exhale. Last one, side to side. Option just to stay with the hands on the blocks, or if it feels good, interlacing the hands behind the back, draw the hands back and reach overhead as you fold forward, keeping the crown of the head released down. If you've got heartburn, I would suggest staying in the other position with the hands on the block, halfway up. But if this feels good, it's just a nice way to really feel that release into the back of the legs, opening into the shoulders. Keep spreading the toes, keep breathing. And then release the hands if they were clasped, hands back onto the floor on the block. You're going to toe heel the feet a little closer so that they're a bit wider than hip width. Engage the glutes and then slowly rise up. Lovely. Hands reach up and over as you breathe in. Exhale, hands through the heart center. Okay. So we're going to use a wall here. You could actually also use a chair. I'll probably just show you against the couch here. So we're going to have the hands or the forearms really up to you. Soft bend in the knees. Relax the head in so that the ears are kind of in line with your arms. And then we're just going to do some figures of 8 infinity signs with the hip. Really nice way to release into the hips, the back. A really nice movement also to do during labor, a bit before, during labor. And so just breathing here. Feel free to work with the breath, making sounds when you're going to be in that birthing room, however you choose to give birth. There'll be sounds coming out of you. So the more we get used to working and hearing the sound of our voice, the better. And then if you are circling in one direction, changing direction with your loops, again, just noticing how that kind of registered with the mind. Sometimes it feels a bit counterintuitive to move in the opposite direction. We tend to be creatures of habit. So really nice to try and form these new neurological pathways as we consciously, with awareness, change how we usually move. Still working with that idea of fluidity. Nice, and then back through center. If you were to walk on a chair, slowly coming back up, back to the front of the mat. Lovely. Have the toes out wide, heels in. Inhale, hands float up. Lift onto the toes, just a few inches off the ground with the heels. And then we're going to slowly make our way all the way down. Heels come to the ground. Placing the hands in prayer. Elbows pressing out into the knees, knees pressing out into the elbows as we come to find a Malasana, our yogi squat. And again here, remembering that if you need to, you could be using a little brick or a bolster underneath the pelvis just for support, making sure that the spine stays long. We're going to work again with that pelvic floor awareness, so changing the way we breathe. So the inhale, you're thinking of gathering in and up the pelvic floor. And as you breathe out, that sense of deep release as you allow the pelvic floor muscles, as though that lotus flower that you're allowing to drop down and open on the exhale. Inhaling, petals gather in and gently up. As you breathe out, just that idea of softening release as the muscles relax. So really important to work with this as early on in your pregnancy as you can, so that when it's time to give birth, the pelvic floor remembers and you can trust your body's innate wisdom to birth to be able to just take over. And the exhalation, as we're pushing, we're allowing that area to soften, to relax, to let baby through. So just doing a few more rounds, inhaling as you gather in and up gently, exhaling as you soften, release. One more here. Lovely. Okay. And then from here, we're going to make our way into our relaxation. So using your bolster here, we're going to come to lie on our left-hand side, maybe using a block or a soft cushion underneath the head for support. And then using your bolster so that your top leg can come over it. And we really want to make sure that the knee all the way to the foot is supported so that it's not creating any tension in the knee joint or ankle joint. And maybe right hand gently resting on tummy in contact with baby. Exhaling through the mouth a couple of times as you really allow the body to soften and relax. Simply becoming aware as you bathe in the residue of your practice of all the sounds, sensations appearing and disappearing. If you have time to luxuriate a little longer in this deep resting position, please do so. But if you need to get on with the rest of your day, then inviting some movement into your extremities, maybe reaching one arm overhead, stretching the legs out. And then as you bend the knees, slowly make your way up, pressing into the right hand. Extend the right leg out. Head is heavy. Coming all the way up, finding a comfortable seated position. As you place the hands together in Anjali Mudra, bowing towards the innate wisdom of your body, of its capacity to birth and bring new life into this world. Namaste. Thank you for having practiced with me. I will see you tomorrow for day 3 of our prenatal yoga series. Blessings.